Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. So today I'm going all blue, one of my most favourite colours, and I'm going to take you down in a minute just so you can see some of the colour palette. And I've also made my own colour by combining two colours. So I'll also talk about that too. I'm using a hoop to act as a bit of a guide for me. It's going to be a bit of a template for me on my canvas. So I'm not going to do a swipe. I'm actually going to use my hairdryer. So lots of tools to use. I've got a base colour that I've made and I can't wait to see how this turns out. I've got an idea in my head. Let's see if we can get that idea onto the canvas and let's see if it works. So let's see what we can create. So let me go through the colour palette, but first of all, let me just show you this colour. I want to kind of get into a good light so you can see the colour. You see that colour? That's a mixture of Prussian blue and a little bit of Payne's grey, because the Prussian blue is semi-transparent and the Payne's grey is opaque. So when I paint my sides, you can see here, I've already prepared my canvas down the sides. It just helps me create more of an opaque colour, but I love Prussian blue so much that I still wanted that to be my base coat. So that's the colour that I've made, and that's going to be my base coat. And then the colour palette itself is going to be these 4 blues plus a white. So we've got Titanium White by Amsterdam, and then all these other blues. I will list them in the description box below. And they are mixed with just water. So paint and water combination, 1 part paint to 1 part water. And that's the same with my base coat, 1 part paint to 1 part water. So that's my colour palette there. I'm using a 24 by 24 inch canvas. So it's quite a large canvas. It just fits on my table. I hold my canvases up with either cups or stands, and the hoop is going to go in the centre because I want to do almost like a snail shell, but I want to start here, trickle the paint in, and then go round this circle, remove this circle, and then blow it out. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if I'm going to get the right composition, but I'm willing to give it a go. So, like with any of my creations, if you've watched me for a while, thank you. If you're new, welcome. I hope you learn as you go along with me. But I always say if you can get your base coat right in terms of coverage and consistency, it really helps create a really consistent and steady piece. So I've placed some of the paint on my canvas. I'm just picking the canvas up now and just swirling the paint around the canvas by tilting it from side to side, but in a circular motion. I'll add a little bit more paint to the base because I want a good coverage. I don't want the base to be too flooded because when I add more paint onto the canvas, that's going to create extra volume, and that volume of paint has to go somewhere, doesn't it? So I'm just now going to take my blow dryer. My blow dryer is always on a cool setting. It actually has a cool button, so I have to press that button in all the time I'm using it, but it's on the lowest blow speed. And I'm just starting from the middle of the canvas and working that paint from the middle to the edge. This is about ensuring that I don't waste too much paint. I don't want the canvas base to be too flooded, but I want enough paint to cover that canvas surface area. So this is a butane torch, and what it does is it pops any air bubbles that are created within the paint when I mix it. So I'm placing the embroidery hoop in the centre of the canvas. There we go, it's directly in the centre. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take paint and trickle it from the corner around that circle. So I'm going to start off with a light colour. That's just going to be a bit of a guide for me, a bit of an indication. You can see that I pinch my cup to reduce the size of how the paint pours out. But I'm just starting from that corner and I'm just trickling the paint in a straight line, and then I go around the curve, and that's the curve of the embroidery hoop just on the outer edge. I'm not actually using the embroidery hoop for anything else other than helping me with the shape of my initial line. So once I'm happy with that, I will remove the embroidery hoop. But as you can see, this just acts as a really good guide to create that line from the corner and then a circle shape to continue. So that's a light blue, skylight blue. I've used all of that. But before I continue, I'm just going to remove the hoop. Just going to place that on the floor. I'll clear that up later. But all I'm going to now do is take one colour at a time, and I'm just going to trickle the paint from the cup around that line. I'm not going to add too much paint. The only area that I want the paint to go off the canvas and down the sides is that corner. So when I blow from the corner around that circle, I don't want any of the other paint to go off the edge, but I do want it to go off the edge in that corner. So it's about also being mindful about how much paint you're layering on your canvas. You want enough base coat to allow the flow of the paint. You want enough paint in terms of the colour palette that you're going to use. You can see here I'm adding a little bit of white. Because they're all blues, I want a little bit of contrast, and that white will do exactly that. So it's also about understanding how much paint you're putting on your canvas, because as you blow that paint, it's the volume of paint that you're moving. So I'll be back shortly, but I'm just going to take each colour one by one and layer it in that line before we take our blow dryer to blow it out. You'll see here that I'm adding just a little bit more of the base colour. That's to allow the flow of the paint to go across the canvas when I use my hairdryer to blow the paint across that surface area. And remember, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like, share the video out, and please ensure you're subscribed to my channel if you're enjoying what you see. By doing that, helps other people discover me as an artist and as a channel, and will help me really grow across YouTube. So thank you in advance for doing that. So onto the blow dryer. It's on a cool speed, lowest blow setting, and I'm just doing an initial blow along that line. Once I've done the initial blow and allowed that paint to go down that corner, and remember that's the only area I want the paint to go from the surface area down the sides, I then go back over the line and just blow out the design slightly, but not too much. So I will go around this line and blow out as I go. I've got to tell you, I am so excited with this result, and I can't wait for you to see some of those details. And I think it really helps by having a darker base coat and those lighter blues on top. I'm just using my blowtorch now to go across the full piece, just to burst any of those air bubbles that have been created when I've mixed my paint with the water. And yes, I'm so happy. I'm just going to tweak a few areas. I'm not going to touch it too much, I promise. I'm not going to ruin it. But there are a couple of lines I just want to tweak. And here we go. Guys, I am doing my happy dance. Please dance along with me. So that's the area with the paint that goes down the corner. That's what I'd intended. And as I've blown along that straight line and around that circle, I've managed to keep all the other blue paint not to go off the canvas, because I really wanted that negative space to surround the full piece. I will of course let this dry, and then I will take you in for a closer look at the dry version. But I'll just continue now showing you a close-up of the wet version. And remember, with any paints, some of them might change colour in terms of how dark they go when they dry. So it's always good to get an idea if some of your colours are going to go a bit darker, because that will really help you create a colour palette to ensure that there's good light and composition across the full piece. And here we go, it's fully dry. With all my pieces, especially the ones that I managed to sell, I always finish them with a gloss varnish. I use a spray gloss varnish by Winsor & Newton. I'm yet to do that with this piece. I just need it to cure for another couple of weeks before I completely seal it. But I just love how it's dried. It's dry to touch, but not fully dry. So just be mindful of that when you create a piece. Although it might be dry to touch, the paints themselves might not be fully dry. So you don't want to seal a piece, because if you do that, more moisture might escape as it goes through that curing process. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've had fun. I know I have, and I hope I get to see you again in the next video. Have a great week, everyone, and take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.